You know, I mean, it's there. It's available. That's at the awards ceremony. That's where all the open bottles go. And some of the
I
closed
also
ones.
want to track down some of the ones with faults so I can taste what it tastes like.
Ah, then you need to hitch your wagon to Pete because he'll be able to help you with some of those. Yeah.
That way you know what not to do.
Yeah. It's totally a great idea to know, and that's why that sensory calibration test on Thursday, or the sensory calibration class on Thursday, is so important because you can learn to identify those.
And also a vocabulary to describe it with.
Yeah. Because it's hard when something's happening in your mouth. It's like, how do I communicate this?
Yeah, like I have found I have managed to get myself a very funky flavor that's cropped up a couple of times, and I'm not sure what it's from, and I don't know how to describe it other than funky. So, you know, if I can find...
Moldy.
Well, it's...
Front of the mouth or back of the mouth? Front of the mouth. Front of the mouth or back of the palate, AJ?
I would have to go and taste it again. I've forgotten. But it's got an odor to it as well. I'm guessing it's probably something to do with oxidation. But it doesn't hit me as sherry or cardboard, which are the two typical descriptions.
Okay.
So,
for anybody who's wanting to find the words, Google mead tasting wheel. There actually is a mead vaults wheel out there.
Yeah, but words don't really give you that same feeling of what it really tastes like.
No, but it gives you a start. It gives you a place to start. And the rest of it's experience, really. I mean, it's just tasting enough meads and learning.
And that's why I can't wait to hang out. Yeah, that's why I'm hanging out to catch the whole idea. It's taken me a very long time to notice that I'm really, really sensitive to mouthiness, which about 75% of meads actually have a tiny bit in there that's most of the time imperceptible. And it's to the point where I said, oh, there's something wrong with
Haim, you're cutting in and out, dude.
Yeah.
You know, a judge or to someone, and there's nothing wrong with it. What are you talking about? But I've known it annoys the hell out of me, so...
Got a little bit of attenuation on your end, Haim.
Yeah, sorry about that. That was about where I was at. Anyway, did we miss half of it?
No,
yeah.
No, we got the gist of it.
Was mousiness is what you were describing?
Oh, did we lose him again?
We might have. Sometimes a connection between here and Australia gets queer.
Yeah, I wonder why that is.
Yeah. I think that's what he said. He said he was very sensitive to mousiness.
I think so. That sounds right. Oh, hi.
Yeah,
Whereas I'm not even
CDO mostly. Yeah.
Oh no, I think we lost.
He's saying that he has silence now.
That's not good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he didn't say the F word enough.
No, we muted and took care of that.
Oh, is that what you guys are muting for? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we certainly did.
There you go.
How am I coming across now?
It's better?
Yeah, the wonders of 4G over a hardwired cable connection, that should be... You know, we won't get into the politics of our NBN and how terrible it is.
So, Pete, any other gems of wisdom you'd like to deliver to the greater mead audience for the Mazer Cup?
2 wrongs don't make a right, 3 do. Remember to spend a full to mutilate whenever possible, and always ask for extra towels.
There you go. Good advice. Good advice.
And the answer is 42.
That's it.
Well, the ultimate answer to life, the universe, and everything is 42.
Yeah. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
That's right. Okay, all right, Pete, I will see you, well, I'll probably talk to you between now and the Cup, but if not, I'll see you in less than 2 weeks, dude.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you folks later.
Thanks
for having me on the show. It's great talking with all you guys, and looking forward to meet each and every one of you there.
Thanks, Pete. See you next month.
Yep, see you soon,
Take
mate.
care.
All right, take care, hon.
Well, sleep well.
Oh, and the dogs heard me say goodbye, and they're losing their minds.
Oh no.
So we didn't get to talk as much as we wanted to about about filtration and cold crashing and stuff. So why don't we kind of move on to what you guys are doing with that? I'm curious to hear what you've got, and I'm going to let them carry it for a minute so I can go let these idiots out. But go for it, Shauna.
All right. What do you want to know at this point? Basically, I pretty much covered most of what I wanted to talk about, but the two primary ways of stopping fermentation are either by adding chemicals, so sulfites and sorbates, or by mechanical means, which is filtration after cold crashing to alter fermentation at a given ABV. We do the latter because we think it's a little bit healthier and provides a better quality product that doesn't affect flavor. Most people say they can't taste the sulfites and sorbates. I prefer not to have them in my wine or my mead.
Yeah, it really depends. If I've found that when I've had to use it and you're entering into a competition and it's not that far away, the judges go, "How much sulfur do you use?" That's the first thing they notice. So I do agree with you on there. It's adding it in and you can taste it. So if you can filter, then yeah, it's a much better way.
And then an added benefit that I found personally is if you don't add sulfates, you might not get a hangover really at all. So,
I've actually found the exact opposite with my own stuff. I have had the worst hangovers from stuff where I didn't stabilize it. And I don't know if it's just me or if it happened to be something else in the brews, but the ones that I've stabilized have not been nearly as bad for hangovers as some of the completely unstabilized ones.
Interesting.
But then again, I know for sure that I don't react badly to sulfites unless I inhale them, because I actually did accidentally slug back. How
did you find that one out?
It was a siphoning accident.
Ah.
Yeah.
Is that like a wardrobe malfunction? Siphoning accident?
Sure, exactly.
Reflex swallowing, shut up.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever sulfited or any of the meads that I've made. I really haven't. I always cold crash and filter, and not knocking on wood, to this date, I haven't had an exploding bottle.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know that's always the worry, right?
Yeah.
That would knock on a lot of wood, dude.
Yeah.
What filtration do you get down to, man?
I get down to about 1 micron. I have a plate filter that has a 1 micron filter that I use.
Mm.
Obviously, only for 5-gallon batches, so it's a lot easier.
Yeah. So one of our other questions. You've lost me again, haven't you?
No, you're still here.
No, you're there.
Oh, wow, everyone was so quiet. Sorry about that. One of our other questions that Manny normally likes to ask, but I'm going to steal it from him. Have you ever blended yeast?
I haven't, but that's something that I want to start playing with.
Okay.
There's a couple out there that I want to work with, blending on the R&D level before we go commercial with it.
What about blending meads after they're finished? Do you ever get into that?
I haven't done that yet. I know quite a few people that have tried something similar, either with wines or with meads or a combination thereof, or beers. But I personally haven't done it. I don't know that I always really like how the end product. I don't know if the proportions just weren't quite right. But I think that you have to hit the sweet spot before you do it on a large scale.
Oh, yeah, totally. You want to play with it first. I mean, I've had some amazing blends, and I've had some really awful blends.
And while we're on meads, while we're on yeast, I haven't been drinking at all. What's your preferred yeast, or does it really depend on what you're making?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that. What?
What's your
preferred yeast?
Oh, preferred yeast, Epernay 2, also known as Coach Blanc.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yep.
That's not super common in the commercial world. At least not with the folks I've talked to,
We tried Montrachet. We tried a couple of champagne yeast and some Lavalin. I can't remember which one. But, we didn't like how it was, the end product it was giving, and so we were trying a whole bunch of different things out and doing a lot of research, and I came across this one from basically a heritage recipe out in the UK that they were using that one a lot for, and I found it in a couple different places after I found it the first time, and I'm like, well, let's give it a try and see how it turns out, and we really liked how the mead that it produced, and it allowed the flavors of the original ingredients to come through a bit, so we liked that as opposed to just, eating everything up and making a really dry mead.
Interesting. Did you notice, you said you'd played with the Montrachet. One of the things that I'd noticed about, because that used to be one of my favorite yeasts back years and years ago, since I do a lot of Lalvin yeast now, but did you notice any distinctive flavors? Not necessarily off, but just when you use Montrachet, I've always been able to detect that, oh, this is Montrachet. Which I've surprised people at a couple of smaller competitions that I've judged at, and I'll taste it and I'll go, oh, so how'd you like that Montrachet yeast? And they'll go, how'd you know? It's like, because once you know what it tastes like, it's always there.
Yeah, it is a very distinct, and that's one thing that I kind of noticed with it, because like when we changed yeast, like that flavor wasn't there anymore, and I'm like, that's from the yeast.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I didn't know what I was tasting at first, and then it's like I go back, and it's like, oh, I can taste that now. I know what that is, and yeah, it's not my favorite.
Now, I've had some really amazing meads with Montrachet, but that flavor, that Montrachet note, is always there.
Yeah, you have to, I think it's given to a certain type of yeast, or a certain type of mead. Personally, I would tend to use it with something that I wanted to have come out rather dry. Is what I would target for Montrachet or any champagne yeast.
I don't know. I mean, I've done some pretty interesting semi-sweets with Montrachet. It's not hard to do with that. It's just that it always had that distinctive flavor, and after I had it, somebody pointed it out to me, and then, of course, once I realized what that flavor was, what that note was in the flavor profile, then I saw it everywhere, It was like, buy a red car and everybody has a red car. Yeah, it was one of those. It was like, oh my God, everybody's using this. Oh my God, So
it's super common.
Yeah, it is, and it's easy to come by. I mean, that's especially if you live like I do in an area that now of course the internet's ubiquitous and you can get any yeast you want, anytime. But if you're going to your local shop, or if your local shop is really small, they may not have some of the less common yeasts. Montrachet Red Star is really common. It's easy to find.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I wasn't able to find Epernay too, because that's how I actually first came across it. And then I found out it was the same thing as Cote de Blanc, and then I was able to actually find it in some local stores here when we were first using it. Now we go through a lab, Scott Labs, for yeast commercially. But on the small level, it took a little while to figure out, oh, that's what that is. And they don't even call it either. It's like DV7 or something through the lab, but it's the same yeast strain.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting, once you've learned to detect that. And I can't do that with many yeasts. I'm not, like, Pete's a super taster. I don't know, a lot of people don't realize that. But if you ever get the opportunity to sit a judging table with him, or if you happen to be lucky enough to be stewarding a table where Pete's judging, just lurk about and listen. I mean, he's incredible. He's really, really good. Ken Schramm's another one. I learned at his feet. I'm sorry, what was that?
He'd probably give a newbie like me a real complex about not knowing.
Not at all. Not at all. He's about creating better judges, creating better people. People who understand mead better. And while he himself, he's like maybe 7th or 8th generation winemaker. He's Croatian, so his family's actually got vineyards in Croatia, and he himself has been making mead for like 40 years. So he really he really knows his stuff, but he's not proud or snide or anything like that about it. He's all about helping others learn. That's why he teaches this sensory calibration class, and that's a free class, by the way. If there's space and you can get in, it doesn't cost a dime. it's just